Hey, you've probably been studying English for a long time, right? You've gotten many books, you've taken many courses, but you still don't seem to be able to sound like a native English speaker when you speak English. What if I told you there were only two things you needed in order to sound like a native English speaker? Would you want to know what they were? Hey, well then this lesson is for you. I'm teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. All right, so I'm going to tell you how to actually sound like a native English speaker using two simple things. You see, when you give an answer, you first need to focus on this formula, R plus S. Now, the R stands for reasons, and it's part 1. And the S stands for story. It's part 2. So basically, today's lesson is going to teach you how to give reasons and a story whenever you're speaking in English. So let's take a look at this reasons portion. Here we go. So for the reasons, you want to give 3 reasons to support your answer, your thought, or opinion. Now remember, it doesn't matter what the topic is, you always want to start with your reasons. So here we go. Each reason should be strong enough to support your opinion or idea. After each reason, remember to add a bit more detail about the reason. This will help the listener understand you even more, which will lead to them feeling that you are more fluent in English. Let me explain this a little bit more. When I was teaching in South Korea, I remember I would ask my students, hey, what's your favorite food? And let's say they said, oh, I like kimbap. It's kind of like the Korean version of sushi. And then I would naturally say, oh, tell me why. I'm asking for the reasons, right? When I say that. So when I said that then, I was asking for the reasons. And many of them would say, I just do. It's good. But those reasons were not strong enough to support their answer or their opinion. That is why you must master giving 3 reasons properly. Now, after each reason, you want to give a bit more detail, and this is because English fluency is all about organizing your thoughts and being able to clearly explain your position and ideas. So let's say, for example, we were asked this question. Why do you think people like to travel to different places in their free time? Well, using our formula, we have to start with 3 reasons. First, I would say to experience and learn about new cultures. Next, people are looking for a change of scenery. And finally, people want to explore new places. So I've clearly organized my thoughts. I'm starting off with R, the first part of our formula, to give an advanced level response, a response that a native English speaker would give. So I have my 3 reasons, but remember, I must support those reasons. So let's see how I would actually use these reasons and respond like a native English speaker. So here we go. Again, looking at this question, this is what my answer would look like. Let's start with the first sentence. In my opinion, there are 3 reasons why people like to travel to different places in their free time. You see, this is actually an introduction statement. And the purpose of this statement is to let the person listening know that your response is organized and directly connected to their question or the topic. So once again, before you state your 3 reasons, just real quickly, connect. Connect with the person listening like, hey, there are 3 reasons why, ... and then go directly into your reasons. So remember my first reason, right? So my first reason, look at the purple portion. The first reason is to experience and learn about new cultures. Now we're going to see me support my reason. When people travel, they can learn a lot about the food in other countries. They can also learn new things about the clothing of different countries. So you see, again, I'm supporting my first reason. You must remember to give your reason and then supporting details. This is all tied into speaking English fluently, like a native English speaker. Now, the second reason is in blue. The second reason is that people are looking for a change of scenery. Let's support it. Many times, people get tired of city life and want to take a break. In addition, many people want to see more nature. So again, I gave my second reason and I supported it with a good amount of detail, right? Now, you're probably wanting to practice this. Again, I do this with my students in the academy. So if you want to join my academy, we have weekly live English classes. All you have to do is hit the link in the description or go to letsjumprightin.com. Again, www.letsjumprightin.com. And my students have been able to practice this with me during a live class. All right. So let's check out now reason number 3. Here we go. Reason number 3 is in orange. Finally, the third reason is that people want to explore new places. Some people are very adventurous, so they want to see and experience new places. This also means that they like exciting things. Now, I want to explain a word really quickly. Repeat after me. Adventurous. Hey, you got it. One more time. Adventurous. Good. Now, adventurous is just used to describe someone who likes adventure. They like thrills. They like roller coasters. They like traveling. They like maybe bungee jumping. They are very adventurous. So again, I gave my reason, the third reason. People like to explore new places, and then I supported it with a good amount of detail. Now, there's one more sentence. Look at the last sentence in black. These are the 3 reasons why I think people like to travel to different places in their free time. It's a sandwich. I started off with my introduction statement. Then I gave my 3 reasons, and then I closed the sandwich up with the last statement. So this statement can be called a summary statement. And the purpose is to remind the person listening very quickly of your 3 reasons once again. The more they remember from your response, the more fluent you will seem. So remember your sandwich. The first one, again, the first part of our formula is the R. 3 reasons. Now, the second part of the formula is the S. So let's jump right into that right now. The S stands for story. What you want to do is tell a story related to the topic. You see, telling a story that connects to the topic or the question helps your listener to connect with you. They will start to visualize your response and your situation. This will make them feel like you are more fluent in English. Think about it. What's your favorite part of my video lessons, or one of your favorite parts? You know, whenever I say story time. Why? Because you're able to connect with me. When I tell you stories about my life, about my family, or my friends, you feel like there's a connection. This is part of being fluent in English. Now, don't worry. Story time is coming at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere. But you want to master the ability and the skill of telling stories in English. This is an important part of your journey to being fluent in English. Another thing I want to bring to your attention, there are 6 parts to every good story in English. The basic story, the background, the characters and people involved, the climax, conclusion, and lessons learned or your thoughts after. Now, all of these are included, each and every one of them, in my stories, which is why you stay. You watch like, ooh, Teacher Tiffany's going to tell a story. If the stories didn't have these 6 elements or 6 parts, you'd be bored. So you must include these 6 parts in your story. So let me describe them a little bit more. Let me explain each of the parts of a good story. So first, the basic story. Think about a simple story that is related to the topic or the question. Then the background. The story details that help the listener understand the story better. This includes things like the setting, snippets of a character's backstory, historical information on the character, a place or something else like a clue. Now, I do want to remind you, this information, don't worry, I have all the information organized for you on my website. You can see for this episode, but if you want to get it via email, just join my newsletter. Again, the link is in the description, and you can get this sent to you via email so you can review and practice this information, all right? So what about a character or people involved? Again, think about the individuals in the story. Now for the climax, think about the most important or interesting part of the story. For the conclusion, think about the end of the story or the solution to the problem. And finally, for a lesson learned, think about what you learned from the story or what thoughts popped up after the story. This is how you tell a good story, by including 6 parts. These 6 parts right here. So again, let's go back to our question. Why do you think people like to travel to different places in their free time? Well, what you see right here is a picture of me when I was in South Korea on top of a mountain. So what's the basic story? These are my notes. A hiking trip I took in South Korea. What's the background? It was a vacation trip with 5 of my friends. Who were the characters? 5 of my friends. Climax. Hiked one of the highest mountains in South Korea. Conclusion. Beautiful mountains in South Korea and the amazing view. And lesson learned. South Korea is a beautiful country. Now, what would this look like in a full story? So again, first part of the formula, R. Giving my 3 reasons, giving your 3 reasons. Second part of the formula, the letter S, story, R plus S. So after I gave my 3 reasons, I go right into a story about my trip in South Korea. So here we go. Personally, I also enjoy traveling to different places in my free time. I remember my first major hiking trip in South Korea. Boom, gave the basic story. 5 of my friends and I decided to go on a vacation trip together. Boom, you see the background and also the characters. We wanted to go camping and hiking, so we rented a van and went to one of South Korea's highest mountains. The mountain was beautiful. We spent one entire day hiking the mountain and it took us a total of 7 hours. So again, what did I do? I gave you the climax. I'm giving you a brief story. Hey, we hiked the highest mountains, one of the highest mountains, and it took us 7 hours. Like, whoa, right? The climax. Next, I continue. At the highest point, there were about 700 stairs to climb because it was too steep to climb without them. Now we're going to get to the conclusion. The views at the top of the mountain were amazing. That's my conclusion. Now my lesson learned. After this trip, my friends and I all agreed that South Korea is truly a beautiful country. So now think about it. The question again is, why do you think people like to travel to different places in their free time? At the very beginning of my response, I give you my opinion, my 3 reasons, which is what you should do. And then immediately I connect it with a personal story. This is how you speak English fluently. Just remember this simple equation, R plus S. Once again, part 1 being the reasons and part 2 being your story. When you do this, you will sound like a native English speaker. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Remember, if you want to continue studying with me, join my academy. The link is right in the description, or you can go to www.letsjumprightin.com. Excuse me, one more time. www.letsjumprightin.com. All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Remember to speak English. You still there? You know what time it is. Come on and sing it with me. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right, guys. So for today's story, I want to tell you about something that happened to me when I was in Korea. I had went on another trip with some friends of mine, different group of friends, and we had a wonderful time. Now, on the way back, we had to ride a train, but we were an odd number. So there were about 7 of us. So we had 2, 2, 2, and then I was 1. So we had multiple couples with us. So I had to sit with people I didn't know, which is fine. That didn't really bother me. I just planned to either read or listen to some music or watch a movie. But the seat that I got assigned was with 3 other Korean ajumas. Now, an ajuma is a middle-aged woman. You know, she's gotten married, had kids, and she's probably in her late 40s, 50s, early 50s. And when I sat down, they had their chairs spun around. So instead of it being 2, 2, 2, like facing the same way, they had spun and I was facing the other 2 Korean women. So basically it was 3 ajumas and they were fun. They were fun. They were together. They were friends. Again, I just wanted to rest. I had a great vacation, but I wanted to relax. Now, they didn't know I could speak Korean, but they see, an African-American woman, and they wanted to practice English. So they were like, hello, they started trying to use certain words. And then I responded in Korean, like, 안녕하세요. And woo! They said, oh my goodness. Everything after that was in Korean, full Korean. Wow, you speak Korean? Where are you from? How long have you been here? How did you learn? So I proceeded to, give them all the information I'm usually asked. Then, I thought, okay, now the introductions are over. I can probably take a nap. Then one of the ajumas said, hey, you want something to eat? Now, again, at that time, I was in my early 30s, I think, and they were still older. They must have been in their 50s because they looked at me like their daughter. They said, you want something to eat, baby? I was okay, but I know Korean culture. And I said, I'm okay. They said, come on, girl. And they proceeded to take things out of their bags. They had kimbap, again, like Korea's version of sushi, which I love. Kimbap, I love. Then they took some other things out, and it was a whole smorgasbord, a lot of food. And they were like, come on, girl, eat with us. So I'm sitting there. I wanted to fall asleep, but these women have taken out food, and we're all eating together and talking. And as I was sitting there, I thought to myself, man, Korean culture is amazing. People that don't know you treat you as if you were a part of their family. They want to take care of you. So I never forgot that situation. I never forgot that train ride because it was a long one of talking and eating with 3 Korean ajumas I met on the train. And now let me know something about your culture. Would this happen in your culture? Would 3 strangers start talking to another individual just because they're curious? And would they give that individual food? I'm curious to know more about your culture. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Remember, if you want to continue studying with me, all you have to do is go to my academy. You can join my daily English lessons membership and get English lessons every single day by going to www.letsjumprightin.com. One more time, go to www.letsjumprightin.com. I'll see you all next week, but remember to speak English.